Okay, welcome back to part 2 of the videos. And these are all three problems are just putting everything into a real life situation or an application situation. So we're going to start on number 9 and we're finding the area of a square. Now, knowing a square is just a special rectangle, you could think of it two ways. You could think of it as length times width, or you could look at it as sides squared. Either way will work. They've given you one of the sides. So I want you to pause your video, figure this one out on your own, and then check back for the explanation. Okay, oftentimes when I'm working with squares and rectangles, it helps to draw a picture. So I went ahead and just drew a picture of my square and labeled one of the sides. I used the formula they gave us of sides squared and went ahead and put my side in parentheses and then raised this whole thing to the power of 2. So I went ahead and marked that my 3 and my t both had an inside power of 1. And I went ahead and expanded it out and then simplified it. And the answer was 9r to the 4th t squared. Okay, on number 10, they've given you the radius. The radius is 5j to the 3rd, k to the 5th. And they've told you that the area of our circle is pi r squared. Now, in this problem, and for pretty much all the problems that you'll do dealing with pi, we're going to leave it as just a pi. It's like a variable. We're not going to put the number to it because it goes on forever. We're just going to use the pi variable. So go ahead and pause your video, do number 10 on your own. Remember that your answer, you're going to have a pi, and then check back for the explanation. Okay, so as I went ahead and just wrote it out with my inside times my outside values, and then when I wrote my answer, I always start with a coefficient. So even though when I was solving it, I had the pi written first, when I get to the answer, I'm going to start with a coefficient. So my 5 squared became 25, so 25 pi j to the 6th, k to the 10th. Okay, the very last one, it wants you to look at what they've given you and see which one, or ones, there's actually going to be more than one answer that would fit with this. Only one of them is in the correct format, in other words, not a negative exponent, but 2 of these 5 do fit this exactly. So I want you to go ahead and solve it, substituting for your radius, for your r, this h over 2, and I want you to solve it and then figure out which ones of these you can get rid of and which ones of these are possible answers or answers that work with it. Go ahead and do this work on your own. Pause your video, give it your very best shot, and then once you've got it figured out, start the video back up for the explanation. Okay, so this one took kind of some multi-step process thinking. When we got our h squared over 4, we still had to multiply that times the h. So we had h squared times h, which gave us in the end h to the 3rd power. We had two things that worked. This is the actual answer, pi h to the 3rd over 4. But if you look at the one right above it, it's in an unsimplified form, but it's pi h to the 3rd. And then if we did 2 raised to the negative 2 power, that would be 4 on bottom. So both of those work. The other guys all have something wrong with them that make them not quite the right answer.